Hey guys, it's Tori. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about comic books. More specifically, the characters in comics and how the legacy of those characters shape the stories they're in. I read a lot of comics, and in recent years I've taken a deep interest in how the two big comic book publishers, Marvel and DC, have taken different approaches to their characters. I think looking into how these two giants handle their characters is important because Marvel and DC are by far the most well-known of the comic book publishers and have the most well-known characters under their banners. On DC's side, you have classics such as Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and on Marvel's side, you have Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America. Some of these characters are close to 100 years old, and yet every Wednesday you can pick up a brand new story telling of the adventure of these heroes. In the world of comics, especially with Marvel and DC, it's not uncommon to reboot the series or the universe and its characters when the stories start to become stale, essentially hitting the reset button and rewriting any aspects of their character that they no longer like or have become uninteresting. They do this in a number of ways, but they're almost always weird and elaborate. Sometimes it involves time travel, sometimes it's an alternate universe, or sometimes they just don't explain it at all. All that matters is that the characters are now different in some way, and new stories can be told. With the new DC Universe Rebirth, DC has gone back to the basics in many ways. Before Rebirth, DC Comics was an interesting place. Commissioner Jim Gordon was Batman, Superman had lost most of his powers, and the classic relationships and connections between many characters had been drastically changed or were simply non-existent. After Rebirth, all this changed back. Bruce Wayne is back, Superman is OP again, and characters like Green Arrow and Black Canary are falling in love all over again. All the other characters are classic as well, such as Barry Allen as the Flash and Hal Jordan as Green Lantern. With this structure, storytelling is more linear. These are characters people know and love. Telling a Batman story is very different when it depends on if Bruce Wayne is Batman or not. We know how Bruce Wayne does Batman. We know what he'll do when pushed into a corner, and we know how he thinks. This changes when another character takes up his mantle, such as Jim Gordon or Dick Grayson. We don't know if they'll take the bullet for the civilian, or if they'll make that leap of faith, and that's what gives their stories potential. With the established characters such as Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, and Diana Prince, the characters are anchors and it's left up to new circumstances to provide the potential for the story. This allows a much lower entry level for potential new readers. You can simply pick up the story and read without worrying too much about, wait, who's Batman? Marvel Comics, on the other hand, has taken a hard right at this approach and is actively ditching all of its old characters and relationships in favor of new stories with brand new characters. Captain America is now Sam Wilson. Thor is now Jane Foster. Iron Man is now Riri Williams. Spider-Man is now Miles Morales. The Hulk is now Amadeus Cho. Mrs. Marvel is now Kamala Khan. Laura Kinney is Wolverine, and so on and so forth. Not only does this structure open up a whole host of story possibilities, we also have a huge influx of diversity. Race, religion, and worldview are all expanded in this new Marvel universe. And whether or not you think this is a great thing, you can't deny that from a storytelling perspective, it's huge. Now, don't misunderstand. Most of the original characters are still there, such as Steve Rogers, Peter Parker, and Thor Odinson. But it's their mantles that have been passed on, and these old characters are left to explore new roles within their universe. This structure allows the authors to ask questions like, how does Sam Wilson's reality as an African American alter his view on American society? And what does Thor do if someone else is more worthy of his hammer than he is? With such a huge shift between the two comic mainstays, there may be many left wondering, well, which is better? And honestly, I can't answer that. I read both in almost equal measure, and I'm very happy with what I read. Bruce Wayne is the Batman, and great authors are still able to uncover his secrets. But at the same time, Miles Morales has refreshed Spider-Man for me. In that same breath, however, I preferred Wally West as the Flash instead of Barry, and Amadeus Cho as the Hulk is something I love in theory, but it's been so poorly executed that I dropped it completely. The legacy of a character is one of the most important and interesting aspects in superheroes. When handled with care, not only can reinvent a character, but re-spark imagination. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you want me to cover next, and hit that subscribe button.